Greetings and salutations from your wine diva. I'm Emily Rosé, and for today's Wine Ed 101, we're going to talk about Chardonnay, the chameleon grape of the wine world. Oh yes, I'm tackling the elephant in the room. There are so many people who turn their noses up at it, especially after the great American Chardonnay craze of the 80s. This was the age of over-oaked, excessively buttery, mass-produced, syrupy glop. Matter of fact, you may as well have called that Chardonnay. Anytime a wine variety becomes extremely popular, there are bound to be makers who are in it for the quickest buck they can wring out of the grape. Sad, but true. To this day, Chardonnay tends to be a divisive topic and very misunderstood. Chameleons take on the color of their environment. If the environment they are surrounded by is colorful and stimulating to the senses, your chameleon will reflect those qualities. So it is with Chardonnay. Chardonnay is not just a wine, but a grape variety that originated in the Burgundy region of eastern France. It has since become one of the most widely planted grapes all over the world, extremely versatile and expressive of both the terroir it originates from and the style of the winemaker. It can range from crisp and refreshing to velvety and rich. And it's one of the main grapes used in the making of champagne. Yes, that bubbly wonder that so many of us enjoy. A well-crafted Chardonnay is a joy to sip. Chardonnay naturally expresses notes of melon, apple, and pear. There are varieties that are grown in cooler areas or harvested early, which have a vibrant acidity. In warmer climates, or allowed to ripen fully, the grape exudes beautiful qualities of stone fruit, especially tropical fruits such as mango, guava, and papaya. When influenced by oak fermentation, typically you can expect flavors and aromas of cinnamon, clove, and vanilla. These are not the native flavors of the grape at all. File that away in your mind for later. The buttery qualities that are so common in Chardonnays are a direct result of a process called malolactic fermentation. Let's talk a bit about malolactic fermentation, aka MLF, because it is important. Yes, Virginia, it's time for science! Malic acid is a natural acid found in grapes, and it's responsible for the tartness and acidity of Chardonnay. When malolactic fermentation occurs, bacteria converts malic acid into lactic acid. And if lactic acid sounds familiar to you, well, that's because it's found in milk and butter. This conversion makes the Chardonnay softer and rounder than it would be otherwise. It gives the wine a fuller and creamier mouthfeel. There are two varieties of malolactic fermentation, and they produce very different results. The first process is spontaneous, and it occurs due to bacteria that's already present in the grape skins or in the winery environment. When the process is spontaneous, it produces a more subtle flavor profile. The second one is known as controlled malolactic fermentation, where the winemaker purposely introduces bacteria into the winemaking process. The resulting buttery flavors are definitely more pronounced than with the spontaneous method. Remember what I said about oak aging, lending flavors to Chardonnay that would not otherwise be there? Oaking Chardonnay is what causes a great deal of controversy. Now, oaking is not an inherently bad thing, but there are some winemakers out there who make use of oak in a way that obscures the natural taste of the grape and may cover the fact that they used inferior grapes to begin with. The longer the Chardonnay has had contact with the oak, the more pronounced the effect will be, and it does a disservice to the reputation of the wine. Over-oaked Chardonnay is a bit like eating a pile of vegetables that have been boiled to death. Not a good or tasty experience. When a winemaker uses oak judiciously, paying attention to the type, seasoning of the wood, and the technique they're using, the results can be astonishingly positive. One more thing about Chardonnay you'll want to take into consideration. The temperature you serve it at is going to impact your tasting experience greatly. I know, we're all used to popping a white wine into the refrigerator, pulling it out, opening it, and serving it. No problem, right? But with Chardonnay, it's harder to appreciate the delicate flavors and nuances if you serve it too cold. My recommendation, refrigerate your bottle, but take it out 20 minutes prior to serving. Or if you're just bringing home a bottle of room temperature Chard, put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes prior to serving. Your taste buds will thank you. I hope this video inspires you to give Chardonnay another chance. If you've typically disliked the big buttery Californias, I'd say try some unoaked varieties first. Garde Manger carries a couple of varieties, which include House of Brown, which is a California Chardonnay but unoaked. We also proudly carry Normand Macon La Roche Vigneuse. This wine comes directly from the Mâconnais area of southern Burgundy, close to the birthplace of Chardonnay. These days, you're going to find that there's a great amount of variation in California wines, unlike the Chards of yesteryear. Give consideration to some of these California wines that use a combination of steel tanks and carefully procured French oak. This yields vastly different results. Keep tasting and learning. It's a fun and fascinating process. Don't forget, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere. Wine Diva out. Normand Macon La Roche Vigneuse. Hoo-hoo! I speak French. I know, not bad for a merkin. I'm a merkin with a gherkin. That's a mighty small pickle. Tiny pickles in the wine. No, you shouldn't put pickles in your wine. Are you nuts?